I'm sure you've heard the news. A massive tsunami just rocked the Pacific, leaving devastation in its wake. The images are everywhere. Towering waves crashing onto the shore, entire neighborhoods swallowed by water, and communities scrambling to pick up the pieces. It's the kind of disaster that feels almost unreal, like something out of a movie or, for some, a page straight out of a manga. The world is watching, hearts are heavy, and questions are swirling. How could something so catastrophic happen so suddenly? And more curiously, did anyone see it coming? But did you know that in the midst of all this chaos, a corner of the internet is buzzing with a wild theory? Manga fans are convinced that a Japanese comic book, yes, a manga, actually predicted this disaster years ago. It sounds unbelievable, right? But the more you dig, the more you realize just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Online forums are lighting up, group chats are flooded, and hashtags are trending. People are poring over old manga panels, searching for clues and debating whether this is just a crazy coincidence or something more. Let's dive into this wild world where fiction and reality seem to blur, where the lines between imagination and real-life disaster get eerily thin. It's a story that's part mystery, part pop culture phenomenon, and part cautionary tale about the power of stories and the human mind's need to find meaning in chaos. So, buckle up, because what you're about to hear might just give you goosebumps. So picture this, it's July 30th, 2025. The world is going about its business. Summer vacations, work deadlines, the usual hustle and bustle. No one expects anything out of the ordinary. But then, in the blink of an eye, everything changes. News alerts start popping up on phones and TVs, social media explodes with rumors and shaky videos. Something big, something terrifying has just happened in the Pacific. An undersea earthquake, massive in scale, strikes off the coast of Russia. The earth shakes, the ocean floor shifts, and within minutes, tsunami warnings are issued across the entire Pacific Rim. From Japan to Chile, from Alaska to Australia, millions of people are suddenly on high alert. Sirens blare, emergency broadcasts interrupt regular programming, and the world holds its breath. The science behind it is fascinating and terrifying. Tectonic plates grinding, energy building up over decades, and then, release. The result? A wall of water racing across the ocean at jetliner speeds. In Japan, the memory of past disasters is still fresh. People grab their emergency bags, families rush to higher ground, and city streets become rivers of anxious evacuees. Social media becomes a lifeline and a source of panic. Hashtags trend, rumors spread, and everyone is desperate for updates. Videos of the approaching wave go viral within minutes, and the world watches in real time as the disaster unfolds. It's chaos, fear, and hope all mixed together. But here's where things take a turn for the surreal. Amidst the flood of news and panic, a new hashtag starts trending, #MangaProphecy. At first it seems like a joke, a weird internet meme, but soon it's everywhere. On Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and even in news headlines. People are sharing screenshots, manga panels, and wild theories. The question on everyone's mind, did a manga really predict this disaster? The manga at the center of this storm is called The Future I Saw, written and illustrated by Ryo Tatsuki. It's not your typical action-packed shonen series or a romantic drama. Instead, it's a collection of dreams and premonitions drawn from the author's own experiences. Fans across Asia are freaking out, rushing to bookstores, digging up old copies, and sharing their favorite panels online. The book, once a cult favorite, is suddenly a viral sensation. Here's where it gets really spooky. Back in 1999, Ryo Tatsuki published a panel that seemed to predict the March 2011 disaster, the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami that devastated Japan. The manga showed a massive wave, a specific date, and eerily similar details. After the 2011 tragedy, fans looked back and were stunned by the similarities. Was it just a lucky guess or something more? The debate has raged for years, with some calling it coincidence and others insisting it's proof of something supernatural. Fast forward to 2021. Tatsuki releases an update to her manga, and this time she draws a giant earthquake and tsunami hitting the Pacific in July 2025. The art is dramatic. Towering waves, panicked crowds, and a date circled in red. At the time, most people shrugged it off as just another story. But now, with the real disaster striking so close to that date, the internet is in a frenzy. Did she really see the future, or is this just a case of life imitating art? Of course, the details aren't a perfect match. The date in the manga is off by a few weeks, and some of the specifics don't line up exactly. But the timing? It's close enough to give anyone chills. People start comparing timelines, overlaying manga panels with news footage, and arguing over every little discrepancy. Is it just our brains searching for patterns, or is there something truly mysterious going on here? The impact goes beyond just online chatter. Bookings to Japan drop overnight as travelers get spooked by the so-called prophecy. Emergency kits fly off the shelves and stores struggle to keep up with demand. News outlets run stories about the manga effect, and even government officials are forced to address the rumors. It's a reminder of how powerful stories can be, and how quickly fear can spread in the digital age. So, what do the experts say? Seismologists are quick to point out that despite all our technology, science can't actually predict earthquakes with that kind of precision. The Earth is just too complex, and there are too many variables. Ryo Tatsuki herself has given interviews, insisting that her manga is based on dreams and intuition, not scientific data. She's as surprised as anyone by the attention, and a little overwhelmed by the idea that people think she's some kind of prophet. Psychologists have their own take. They say humans are wired to look for patterns, especially in times of crisis. When something shocking happens, we search for meaning, sometimes in the most unlikely places. It's called apophenia, the tendency to perceive connections and meaning between unrelated things. So maybe it's not prophecy, but just our brains doing what they do best, trying to make sense of the chaos. But still, you have to admit, when you see those manga panels side by side with real disaster footage, it's hard not to get chills. The art, the dates, the sense of foreboding, it all feels a little too close for comfort. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's something undeniably fascinating about the way fiction and reality can collide in such dramatic fashion. So, what do you think? Is this just a wild coincidence, or is there something deeper at play? Are we seeing the power of storytelling, the quirks of the human mind, or a genuine glimpse into the unknown? The debate is raging online, with people sharing their own stories of strange coincidences, prophetic dreams, and moments when fiction seemed to bleed into reality. Was it prophecy, or just our brains searching for patterns in the chaos? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button if you love stories where anime meets reality, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the weird, the wonderful, and the mysterious. Because sometimes the line between fiction and fact is thinner than we think, and you never know when the next page might come true.